Welcome back, Officers of Republic. It's your course on Underworld Police Sleep-Deprived Games. Have you missed me? I've been gone, but now I am back to answer a question that I have received more than any other question in the last week or so. And it's only exacerbated now that the third set of Jabba requirements are out. Let's pull through. We're not going to break them all down. It's not going to be a boring video. We're going to hit you with fun, exciting, honestly pointless information. So if you just want to leave your mandatory comment of APGAINS, no one loves you, and go on your way, that's fine. But I've been hearing a lot that Jabba requirements are easy. If you go on any single Galaxy of Heroes thing, in the chat, on the Discord, in a video, wherever you go, all you're going to hear is these are very free to play, very friendly Galactic Legend requirements, and I'm here to talk about that. Now, I haven't made up my mind yet. Are they free to play? Friendly? Are they not? Let's break them down. Let's just do some quick math because everyone loves math. This channel is based on math, though I disguise math as lots of very inappropriate jokes, apparently too inappropriate in some junctures of time. Chrysanthemum at 5. That's $300 right there. Han Solo at 8. That's a Relic 8 that most people won't have, but that's, it's a solid Relic 8, but that's still a Relic 8. And they still haven't dropped the Relic 8, Relic 9 free-to-play update that they promised us. Gamorrean Guard at 3. It's a character that no one has, will not use, but, it's not a very hard character to guard. Grind. Outrider at 7. Ships are, as I go in the comment section, are you farming your ships like APGAINS told you? I bet you're not. Greedo at R6. I mean, when is Greedo going to get his Omicron? He's been no-cap Greedo. I think it's time that we uncap Greedo. I'm tired of no-cap Greedo. I want uncapped Greedo. Give him an Omicron. Make him shoot first like Han or something. Skiff Guard Lando, that's another $300 to $400. So if we do our cash money tally, we're at, let's just call this $700 between the two of these characters right here. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Now this is one of the weird ones. I've seen a lot of people say that this is a gimme, and I always find it funny that there's always this huge disconnect between the three groups of people. There's the early game, the mid game, the late game, and very infrequently do each of the groups think outside of their current group, right? Like, hear me out for a second. Let's say you're under 4 million GP, which apparently is the early game. Let's just say you're under 3 million. Let's say 1 to 3 or 0 to 3 is early game. 3 to 6 is mid game. Anything over 6 is end game. Let's just call it that. There's obviously different subsections in each of those phases, but let's just take that as a general rule of thumb right there. If you're sub 3 million GP, right? This is not a gimme, right? Even relicking these characters is not a gimme, right? Like, taking Aura Singh to Relic 6 is like your worst nightmare because you're still trying to unlock your gas or work on your first Galactic Legend or figure out, should I farm the Profundity or the Executor? How am I going to have a full Relic 3 team to use my first Datacron? How do I have enough teams? Why is my opponent 5 million GP more? Like, those are the problems that you're likely going to encounter when it comes to this whole, is Jabba a free-to-play Galactic Legend or free-to-play friendly Galactic Legend? Let's say you're in the mid-game and you no longer really struggle with actually acquiring relics, but your issue is more about, is this the most efficient thing that I could be doing? Like, is he the best first Galactic Legend? Well, we have no idea what he does, but he's probably one of the harder Galactic Legends to get because he requires Jedi Knight Luke, which, if you're not like APGAINS and you haven't followed the APGAINS Approved Farming Guide, the #1 farming guide of all time, link, I'm not even going to put a link in there. It's just, we have a farming guide playlist. Go find it there. And you've worked on your JML as your second Galactic Legend. You have your Jedi Knight Luke. You might, just so happens to conveniently work for us. But Jedi Knight Luke is no slouch. Jedi Knight Luke requires, let's just see here. Can I go scroll back to the beginning? Jedi Knight Luke requires a Relic 3 Wampa. He requires a Relic 3 CLS, which is not bad. He requires all of these characters at Relic 3. C-3PO, which most people don't relic unless they have to. Chewbacca, which you should already have reliced. Rolo and Captain Han, which are effectively useless characters in the game. Some ships, which is not the end of the world. You should have good ships. Hoda, who is Get 1, just like Wampa, and you should be using your Get 1 to 7-star Malik, and gas. Lando at R5, I think, which is crazy. or I guess he's required at 3, but recommended at 5. CLS again, and Darth Vader, which you should have. So these are by no stretch of the imagination easy requirements, but they're also not the end of the world. So the mid-game player is probably not looking at Jedi Knight Luke as, the impossible hurdle to overcome like a new player is, right? They're more going to be looking at specifically the marquee characters. Because a mid-game player in most situations, like an early game player, is not going to be spending money. They have way more resources at their disposal. Of their 3 currencies, time, money, will to live, they have more time played than the early game player, right? So they have some time to accumulate relics. They're in a bigger guild. They're doing better in all of these TB, TW, Conquest, GAC. So their income is a lot higher than an early game player. So they're not really worried about Han Solo at 8. Like, that might be on their mind, right? Like, that's on my mind. I still only have one R8 that isn't a requirement, and it was only because of peer pressure. They're not really like, oh, Gamorrean Guard to 3. Like, they probably already have one Galactic Legend plus one of the big capital ships and maybe a second Galactic Legend. So they're used to relic characters that are requirements but aren't super useful. The ships, they're doing fine. It's really the marquee characters that it comes down to. Because these characters, when Jabba first comes out, and it's not like you need to have Jabba when he first comes out, obviously, because he's a Galactic Legend, he'll just be permanently there. You can have him at your leisure. But Chrysanthemum, let's just say $1,200 between. Let's just round down. Let's say best case scenario, you're looking at $1,200 is actually too much. That's $400 per. Actually, that's probably perfect. But let's just round down and say you just happen to have a bunch of relic materials, a bunch of gear. Right? Best case scenario, it's like $1,000 to get these guys day one. That's going to be your real hiccup. That's not exactly a free-to-play friendly Galactic Legend. While you might not struggle with a lot of the other things that the early game player is, the marquee characters are definitely holding you back. Now let's look to the end game. The end game player, and that's why you hear it a lot in the Discords, on the Reddit, in the comment section, in streams, in videos. The end game player, this is pretty much a layup, right? Most end game players who are over 8 million GP just have enough crystals laying around, either from spending or just hoarding, to buy characters and shipments for half the price. By the way, don't ever wail on characters in their packs. Always buy them in shipments. You spend about $150 per character if you pay for it. Obviously, if you don't pay for it, it's faster. Then say $300 to $400 if you just straight up wail on them the day they come out. So really, for them, this is a layup. Like Han Solo at 8, like this is just an excuse to have a better MILF for their Profundity fleet. Gamorrean Guard at 3, this is literally nothing. Outrider at 7, they already have. Greedo at 6, it's annoying, but not the end of the world. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, like you've been hearing online, they already have that character. Jawa at 3, whatever. At 4, fine. C-3PO at 7, not a huge deal, already have him at 5. Bush or Bausch, or I've heard it fucking a million different ways, whatever. Just another marquee character they're going to have to get up. Aura Singh at 6, not the end of the world. Fennec Shan at 7, they already have. Boba Fett, they already have at 8, or likely 9, depending on their executor lineup. Mob Enforcer at 3, just got to rework, not the end of the day, probably going to be part of the kit. So the reason you've been hearing that Jabba is a free-to-play friendly Galactic Legend is that for the people who oftentimes are pushing out the content, they tend to be late-game people, this is a free-to-play Galactic Legend, or at least a free-to-play friendly Galactic Legend, if you already have 7 or 8 or 9 million GP, right? If you're a mid-game player, I would say it's a reasonable 4th Galactic Legend, 3rd Galactic Legend, because you're likely going to have a lot of the requirements already, and it's likely not going to be super steep once these characters are completely farmable, right? If you're an early game player, don't even bother thinking about Jabba. Like, maybe appreciate his artwork, watch some test footage of him once he's out, watch him in GAC, touch yourself late at night thinking about him, or whatever it is that you want to do. But God forbid, do not farm this character as your 1st, your 2nd, and probably not your 3rd Galactic Legend. But if you hit that mid-game mark, you're 6 million GP, 5.5, 6, 6.5 million GP. You want a 4th Galactic Legend. He turns out to be amazing, useful in the new territory battles that are going to be required for something. Go for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry I haven't been around a lot. I basically work 12 hours a day from sunrise to sunset now. So I'm tired. And now I have to go do some training until midnight and then wake up at 5 and go to work. So as always, I love you, and I'll see you later.